All right, my roses have gone crazy this year. So another cold and foggy day here by San Francisco. I've just spent most of the morning laying in bed reading, which is really nice, but I need to paint, I need to make a video, so I am heading to San Jose to try to find some sun. All right, so it's late afternoon here at Grant Lake. So I'm going to try to do a quick 12 by 16. This is a sort of subject matter that I haven't tackled before. I've maybe painted one or two sort of lake scenes in my life. So this will be a fun challenge. All right, so there's these like reeds in the foreground. I want to include those and the shadows, and then also this nice blue reflected in the water, the sky reflected in the water. There's some distant hills way over there that I might try to include, and then obviously some of this light green plant matter along the water line. So I'm using the Anderson easel here today, and I'm going to be painting on a 12 by 16 inch panel. My usual palette of colors, and I'm using liquid as my medium. Okay, so there is the basic idea. Got the hills in the background, water right here, bunch of reeds over here, these dark green ones, and then the reeds in the foreground, which are right here, and the shadows. As usual for my dark mixture, I'm using alizarin crimson and ultramarine with a bit of liquid mixed in to loosen it up. Also adding a bit of odorless mineral spirits. All right, so I've thinned the mixture in order to keep it transparent. I like to see some of the panel showing through. So the next thing I think I'm going to do is lay in the dark reflections in the water, which are right below these reeds. They're kind of a dull reddish green. All right, so I'm starting with a mixture of ultramarine, cad yellow medium, and I've added a touch of alizarin crimson to gray it down. All right, so now I'm adding the light portion of the water. And this is just titanium white and ultramarine blue to start. All right, so for the green here along the water line, I've just mixed some cadmium yellow lemon into my previous green mix to lighten it up and also cool it down a bit. All right, the color of the shoreline is going to be tricky. I'm just going to approximate the color at first, and then I'll come in and get more specific after. The value is definitely too dark. All right, so back to the foggy weather. Let's go in and take a look at this painting. I have to be totally honest. I tried to record an outro while I was at Grant Lake, and I was just too bummed out. I really felt like this painting did not work at all. But when I got home, I took it out of the wet panel carrier, and it looked decent. So, yeah, let's go have a look. I feel pretty good about the composition. I like this idea of having something in the foreground, in this case these reeds here, and then a middle ground would be these reeds here, and then obviously the distance is the hills. These hills in the extreme distance, they were a lot smaller, but I decided to increase the size of them because the slope of this hill, it just was too dramatic without having something over here to balance it out. All right, so here's a close-up of some of the brushwork. One thing I noticed here, a discovery I made, is that by having these like really strong vertical brush strokes, it creates a sense of space or separation from the hill. Do you notice that? So that's, even though I feel like these strokes are maybe a little bit too exaggerated, and this one line here is too dark, but the idea I think is interesting, that having, you know, different direction brush strokes here, like these horizontal at the top of the hill and these verticals in the sky, it actually creates like a sense of depth or separation. So that was kind of a cool discovery. There's something in the foreground here that kind of bugs me. I think it's the kind of swooped brushwork. I think it should be more horizontal. And but overall I like the colors, and I wasn't sure about the colors, like the hills, you know, all the grass dies on the hills and it turns this sort of golden red color. And I wasn't sure how that was going to look in the painting, but it actually looks like the hills of San Jose. So, you know, that was part of what surprised me when I got home. You know, that it feels like it did capture the essence of the scene. And, you know, it's kind of what I was after. All right, so it's funny how the struggle of the process often affects my perception of the product. This was a difficult painting for me. I think anytime I do new subject matter, I'm really challenged, and I think that's a good thing. But oftentimes that struggle makes me have a sort of negative perception of the painting, and that was the case here. I just really felt like this was a total loss. But like I said, once I got some distance from the struggle, I noticed some things that I really liked, and I look forward to going back to the lake and kind of building on the discoveries I made during this painting. So yeah, overall time well spent, and I think it's good to challenge yourself, you know, by painting subject matter that makes you uncomfortable, because you learn so much in the process. But anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments. Also, I'd like to do a Q&A. I haven't done one in a while. So if you guys have any questions, put them in the comments down below. And if you'd like to see some extra videos and help support the channel, I have a Patreon link below as well. Other than that, stay creative, and I'll see you guys in the next video.